So it's looking like Call of Duty had a pretty rough year last year, because according to a recent investor report from Activision, as well as reported by GameRant.com, Call of Duty lost close to 50 million players in a single year. Now we're going to talk about the data in the investor report, and we're going to talk about why this happened, as well as just the overall consensus on how Activision plans to actually improve those numbers throughout the 2022 fiscal year. My initial reaction is 50 million players is quite a lot of people to lose in a single year. I thought Call of Duty in general, as well as Warzone, was doing okay, especially whenever you consider the fact that it's free to play. But I guess whenever you compound the fact that there's multiple different games that are releasing that are adding stuff to Warzone that people weren't interested in, and then couple that with the fact that cheaters have kind of run rampant in Warzone, I guess the 50 million number kind of makes sense. Now, my other question is like, is this 50 million players that are active, or is this just 50 million accounts? And if it's based on just the accounts, how many of those accounts were from banned users that just created another account just to get banned again by the anti-cheat that happened eventually? So I actually read the article from GameRant.com. You guys can actually check it out. The link is in the description. But the article states, according to Activision's first 2022 investor report, users across Call of Duty games decreased rather precipitously throughout 2021 and into 2022. They then went on to state that the franchise has now dropped by more than 50 million monthly users in just a single year. While the game still have a player count that would make quite a few developers jealous, it's the speed at which the player count has dropped off that should be concerning to Activision. GameRant then goes on to say that the drop in players is the steepest that it's been since Call of Duty Warzone was first released back in 2020, and Activision Blizzard is blaming that drop on two factors. The first is that there is simply a waning interest in Call of Duty Vanguard, according to the company. The firm also admitted that people have been jumping off of the Warzone bandwagon at a faster rate than past years. Well, if they would have rolled out an anti-cheat before Call of Duty Vanguard, then they probably would have retained some of their player base. There's also the fact that Call of Duty Warzone's live service wasn't the greatest. It seems like whenever Warzone first released with the Verdansk map, we really didn't get much changes to the map until Call of Duty Cold War released with the Cold War integration that kind of derailed the entire game. I think it was the Cold War integration that was the catalyst that made me stop playing the game. I was not interested in using Cold War weapons in Warzone. I just was not a fan of it. I thought the weapons were overpowered and they just were not balanced at all. The time to kill was changed drastically with the addition of those weapons, and that's like kind of shows like there's 50 million people that are no longer playing Warzone and Call of Duty because of the decisions that were made 2 years ago. I think hindsight is 2020, or rather 2022, and they're going to be changing things up with the new Warzone experience. Warzone 2 is set to release at the same time as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Activision is already hyping it up as their next big experience that's going to bring players back. But then that begs the question, yeah, okay, if they can bring back 150 million players, how many of those players are going to just continue to drop off and go play other games? Will the number be 50 million, or is it going to be even more? Now, I am personally pretty excited for the new Call of Duty game Modern Warfare 2, as well as Warzone 2 and that rumored DMZ mode. But in order to keep me as a player, I need consistent updates. I'm pretty ADHD at that fact. Like, I'm a squirrel that's looking for the next new thing, and unless Call of Duty is able to release content at the level of like Fortnite and Apex Legends, and even Valorant for that matter, I don't know how they expect people to play these games long term if nothing new is happening. But according to this investor report, it's looking like Activision is going to take all of that into consideration, because what they have being built is something that could be truly special. According to the investor report, they stated the Call of Duty teams delivered substantial gameplay improvements for Vanguard and Warzone in the first quarter. Development on this year's premium and Warzone experiences led by Infinity Ward is proceeding very well. This year's Call of Duty is a sequel to Modern Warfare 19, the most successful Call of Duty title to date, and will be the most advanced experience in franchise history. The new free-to-play Warzone experience, which is built from the ground up alongside the premium game, features groundbreaking innovations to be revealed later this year. Furthermore, they stated that Activision continued to rapidly expand its Call of Duty development resources in the first quarter. Its growing teams are focused on delivering even more compelling content to the community on PC, console, as well as expanding Warzone to the mobile platform. Before we dive into that statement, I want to preface this by saying that this is an investor report. The goal of these statements are marketing, as well as to provide the investors with a level of hopium that their money is being spent well and they're going to receive some sort of return on investment with all of the work that they're doing. So the part of this that I want to hyper focus on is the fact that they stated that the Warzone experience is going to be built from the ground up and will feature groundbreaking innovations to be revealed later this year. So I would assume that those innovations will probably include an FOV slider for console experiences, cross-platform between the mobile version of Warzone that's going to be releasing racing, as well as on console and PC. Hopefully those innovations include an optimized experience on all platforms. One of my biggest problems with Warzone is I felt like it was never optimized to a point where I never had any FPS issues, no stuttering or glitches or anything like that. They eventually worked it out, but it was definitely a struggle at the start of the game's launch. I would also hope that their Ricochet anti-cheat is at a point where they're actually able to prevent hackers from completely ruining the experience of Warzone and Call of Duty for that matter, which is probably one of the biggest reasons why the player count started to drop off initially. You know, I think not having content is definitely a big reason people left, but I would say the final nail in Warzone's coffin was the fact that they didn't feature an anti-cheat for the entire time we got Verdansk. They released the Ricochet anti-cheat at the same time the Call of Duty Vanguard dropped, and at that point there was not many players that were actively playing the game for Warzone. They had already moved on to other experiences because of the cheating situation and the fact that the game changed so much that it really wasn't Warzone anymore. Who would have thought that nobody wanted to play a Call of Duty Warzone experience with World War II weapons? Surely not the entire community, right? Like, everybody loved having World War II weapons in Warzone. It's like the developers saw people loved using the Kar 98K and they're just like, hey, I've got a great idea. What if we made an entire game where they only use World War II weapons? Surely that'll get people playing, right? That's going to keep players, right? Despite the unfortunate failure that was Call of Duty Vanguard, according to Activision, things are definitely looking up for the Call of Duty franchise, especially with Activision in general. Call of Duty is about to be owned by Microsoft, and I think whenever it comes to pro-consumer moves, I know it's really weird for me to say this, but like, Microsoft in recent years has been pretty pro-consumer. And to couple that with the fact that Infinity Ward will retain themselves as the primary developer throughout the 2 years of Modern Warfare 2's life cycle, and the fact that Call of Duty Warzone is also going to be on mobile, we could be potentially entering a new era that the Call of Duty scene has needed for years, and that is longevity. I've said time and time again that the yearly launch cycle for Call of Duty games are just not effective. Sure, they provide short-term growth for Activision Blizzard, but they don't provide long-term growth for the Call of Duty community at large. And at the end of the day, community and content is king for these games. But all of that starts with a good game. Infinity Ward, the ball is in your court. You have to give us a game that's got plenty of content at launch that will keep us playing until the Warzone experience releases, and just continue to provide the level of quality and content that every live service game needs to succeed. There should be a brand new season at the very least every 90 days, with new content dropping every 2 weeks and a larger patch every single month. I know it seems like a tall ask, especially since I'm a Battlefield player and I'm still waiting for season 1 that I've kind of already forgot about at this point, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone, as well as DMZ, has the potential of being one of the biggest games of all time to take back the reign for the #1 FPS game as well as Battle Royale experience. But all of that starts by releasing a completed game that's loaded with a bunch of content. But guys, that is going to wrap it up with this video. Are you excited for Warzone 2? Do you think they're going to be able to bring those 50 million players back? Let me know in the comments section. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on, and don't forget to check back again tomorrow for another video like this one. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys again soon.